In this episode, we highlight Kelis Rogers, a super gifted singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist who courageously crosses so many genres that it's difficult to box her in one. Though she was ahead of her time, it's never too late to catch up, so today we're going to rank Kelis's criminally underrated catalog of 6 albums from worst to best. I'm QB, give us a thumbs up if you like what you see, subscribe if you love it, and super thanks are always appreciated. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. Number 6, Flesh Tone. It seems like once an artist personally feels like they've plateaued creatively, they have to switch their styles. So we saw this happen when Weezy picked up a guitar for Rebirth, when Ye went industrial punk like Death Grips for Yeezus, and when Drake randomly dropped the house album nobody asked for. Honestly, never mind. On Kelis's 5th album, released in 2010, she evolved like a great artist would and should, but with much better results than the aforementioned. This electro-pop dance album is not necessarily a bad record. In fact, it's a great LP to pregame to on a Friday night. If you're really into raving, this might be your number 1 pick. With less than a 40-minute runtime, it's Kelis's shortest body of work and only has 9 tracks. Intro with its dark, moody, thumping synths that sound like Tame Impala at their best is a banger. 4th of July and Acapella are both captivating electronic songs which became hits on the dance charts in the UK. There is also a touching dedication to her son, Sire with Nas, Night, on the track A Song for the Baby, which is uplifting and groovy. Check out this album if you can't get enough of Kelis or the dance floor, but don't start here. Number 5, Kelis Was Here. 3 years after releasing her biggest album, Tasty, Kelis was now a household name. However, disputes about writing credits, royalty money, and creative direction caused a fallout between her, the Neptunes, and her label Arista after the success of Milkshake. So in 2006, Kelis returned on Jive Records with her 4th album, Kelis Was Here, intent on proving she could make it without Pharrell's assistance. Clocking in at 73 minutes, this long album has a lot to like, but some less than stellar moments as well. It's obvious on this album that the label was thirsty to get another taste of the success Milkshake had. So as the good capitalists they were, trendy producers of the time like Bangladesh, who made Lil Wayne's A Milli, and Polo the Don, who made Chris Brown's Forever, were recruited to assist Kelis back to the top. The raspy and soulful intro is a great opening song. Bossy featuring Too Short is a cute little bop. Till the Wheels Fall Off, produced by will.i.am, is a head-nodding love ballad. The best turn-up songs though are firstly the Futuristic Trilogy, which has one of Scott Storch's best beats, and Weekend, which switches tempo seamlessly yet still keeps you dancing. There are moments of clarity and introspection, particularly on the song Circus, where Kelis raps 2 fire verses about the absurdity of celebrity, and on the track Low Star with CeeLo Green, where star status is challenged again. The misses on this album are the horrendous Blindfold Me, where Nas and Kelis are both just gross in describing their liaisons, the hyphy-inspired Handful, which sounds like a throwaway song for the Pussycat Dolls, and All Shit, which is just that. The genre bending Kelis is known for doesn't disappear on this album though. In fact, the best song here, Appreciate Me, blends gospel with futuristic spacey synth rock, a must listen, and Have a Nice Day blends Latin salsa with R&B. The album was Kelis's highest debut on the US charts at number 10, so it is a triumph to overcome the naysayers who said she couldn't deliver without the Neptunes, but the attempts on this album at trying to recapture that feeling on Tasty fall flat. It's still a good album and worth a spin. Number 4, Wonderland. Kelis's sophomore effort has a unique story. Originally recorded in 2000, it was meant to be released the following year in the US, but instead only had a limited release overseas. This album would not be officially available for American listeners until 2019. This pseudo-shelving by Virgin Records would be the beginning of the end of Kelis's relationship with her first label and start to form cracks in her bond with serial collaborators, the Neptunes. Putting the drama aside, this follow-up to her debut was completely produced by Pharrell and Chad Hugo and keeps the same eclectic energy as its predecessor. This concept album loosely tells the story of a young rebellious girl who runs away from home, falls in love with a bad boy, experiences heartbreak, then loss before reaching self-actualization. Loosely autobiographical because Kelis left home at 16 because of confrontations with her mother. She channels that teenage angst and rage into a cohesive album of eccentric styles and sounds. Young, Fresh, and New has a catchy rock riff and abrasive lyrics, and Perfect Day is just straight Nirvana grunge and is great for it. On Popular Thug, Pusha T delivers 3 sick verses, and the chorus will get stuck in your head. Honestly, most of the songs on here are good and deserve their own dissection, but the most interesting thing about this slept-on piece is that it's so avant-garde. As much as this album borrows from 70s soul, plays Scared Money, Shooting Star, Mr. UFO Man, and Little Susie, and you'll hear traces of the musical blueprint that Brockhampton, Frank Ocean, Jhené Aiko, and Tidal later built on. This album is a strong contender for the number 3 spot. The only reason it slips into number 4 is a few duds, like the horrible live cover of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, and the filler songs Easy Come, Easy Go, Junkie, and the needlessly vengeful Get Even. Nonetheless, it is a masterful album, definitely worth a listen, and can you believe this album only sold 17,000 copies worldwide? That's a damn shame, but that sort of makes it a collector's item, doesn't it? Before we get to the top 3, success as an artist in the music industry is dependent not only on talent, but also on being in the right place at the right time. This bubbling artist, born in 1979 in Harlem, USA, was charmed in that respect. She graduated from the famed performing arts high school LaGuardia, also the alma mater of Nicki Minaj and Azalea Banks, among others, doing background vocals for the Wu-Tang Clan affiliate Gravediggers led to her bonding with the Neptunes and a deal with Virgin Records at the age of 18, and singing the hook for ODB's hit Got Your Money 2 years later. Since that time, Kelis has gone through many incarnations, and so has her music. While now we appreciate the progressive alternative black music made by contemporary artists like SZA, Syd, Kali Uchis, and Doja Cat, Kelis was pushing boundaries that no longer exist for them years prior with a lot of music that hasn't grown stale. Do you think that Kelis gets her flowers? Do you think she deserves any? Comment below. Alright, off the soapbox. Number 3. Boob. The name for Kelis's most recent record might seem odd at first, but when you learn that Kelis is actually a cordon bleu trained saucier, that she published a cookbook and sold jerk ribs from a food truck at South by Southwest to promote this album, the theme makes more sense. Similar to how Nas released one of his best albums of his career after their divorce, 2012 Life's Good, the former Mrs. Jones did the same thing with Food in 2014. This record was entirely produced by indie rock producer David Andrew Sitek and is by far the most cohesive sounding album in Kelis's catalog aside from her first two. From start to finish, live instrumentation from big brass horns, electric and acoustic guitars, cymbals, drums, piano, and basses come together to make tracks like the best of 70s funk, psychedelic rock, and soul music. The lyrics are moving from the hopeful upbeat opener Breakfast, a tribute to her son, to the somber and spacey Change, a song about accepting the loss of a relationship. The best songs on the album are all incidentally named after food. Jerk ribs, cobbler, fish fry, and biscuits and gravy are all highlights because of their groovy beats, powerful choruses, and reflective lyrics. The only major flaw with this album is the sad truth that Kelis's singing ability had deteriorated considerably by this point compared to the start of her career. On here, her voice has changed from the slightly raspy Lauryn Hill-esque to hoarse like Macy Gray. On the majority of the songs, this works, like the powerful tracks Runnin' or Rumble, but it hurts her on the song Hooch, where the lyrics are barely audible. However, Food is a solid offering and worth sinking your teeth into if you want something that'll stick to your ribs. Number 2, Tasty. In 2003, Kelis released her third album not on Virgin, but instead on Arista Records and Star Trek Entertainment. It would end up being her breakthrough moment and transform her career forever. Tasty boils down to the best ingredients of Kelis's first two albums, Kaleidoscope and Wonderland, to deliver a delectable dish of delicious delights. Of course, we can't talk about this album without mentioning the song that's synonymous with her name and the early 2000s, Milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours.
This infectious, sultry, playfully sexy song was originally intended for Britney Spears, but she turned it down. Thank God she did, because can you imagine anyone else but Kelis delivering the invitation to the yard with as much charisma? The song went on to be highly successful domestically and internationally. But it seems like the success was unintentional and surprising to all parties involved, because aside from that song, the rest of the album avoids the overtly pop sound. This is Kelis's neo-soul album, and she does it just as well as Jill Scott or Angie Stone, and the proof is on the songs Glow, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, Attention, and Rolling Through the Hood. The Neptune sound is still present with them producing 5 of the 14 tracks here, but this album is also the first in her catalog where other producers assist. She brings the best out of them and vice versa. A very notable track is Millionaire featuring Andre 3000. Unfortunately, he doesn't drop a 32-bar soliloquy like he's known for, but it is a beautiful and inspiring song that should get more shine. The lively jam Protect My Heart is also worth running back more than once. Tasty is Kelis's highest selling album and the only one in her catalog to have gone gold. While that's a shame because she has so much good music, it is also understandable because Tasty is her most digestible work. Number 1, Kaleidoscope. Throughout this review, we've stressed the point that Kelis was ahead of the curve of the R&B genre and modern artists are just now catching up. If you still don't believe, Kelis's 1999 debut Kaleidoscope will convert you. This album, completely produced by the Neptunes, is inventive, daring, classy, sassy, and fun. It encompasses all the qualities we love about Kelis's music. The fact that this album is more than 20 years old, and she was barely 20 when these songs were written and recorded, shows that Kelis was as much a musical prodigy as a 16-year-old Nas was when he put together Illmatic. The album's intro has Pharrell narrating a fictional story of adopting an alien girl who crash landed on the Earth, and the extraterrestrial theme appears again on the jams Mars and Roller Rink. Though it does reach for the stars, the songs that anchor the LP to Earth are also the most profound. Get Along With You, In the Morning, and the duet Wouldn't You Agree with Justin Bent have lush, well-composed instrumentals and powerful vocal performances from Kelis belting out with clarity and vulnerability. The lead single, called Out There, is a raucous anthem against cheaters with a contagious chorus that will have you screaming along with her. Say it with me. The second single, Good Stuff, is so funky that it would make James Brown want to get down, and features a fire verse from Terror, the first rap name Pusha T went by before the Clips. Bet you didn't know that. Another notable song is Suspended, a trippy yet mellow ballad about love that makes you feel like time itself has stopped. Ghetto Children is an inspirational ode to the forgotten youngsters of the world, and it's a great song as well. And these are some of the best beats of the Neptunes catalog. Why, when this album was initially released, it was universally acclaimed. It was not a blockbuster seller in the US or abroad, though it did earn a gold certification in the UK, but sometimes the world isn't ready for what they want, which is why the innovations Kelis made more than 2 decades ago are just now coming full circle. If you want to see what you've been missing, ignore the Uber One commercials and start with a look through Kelis's Kaleidoscope. Alright, we tried as much as we could not to mention Nas a lot during this review, because Kelis's music can stand on its own too. However, if you can't get enough of all things ESCO, check out our ranking of Nas's albums here or the NERD list. I'm QB, thanks for watching.